6 years ago, a friend of mine unalived himself and took his own life, and it was very hard for me. I've lost a few people. Of course, Robin Williams is one of the greats that did, and others. But I wanted to talk about it today because yesterday was a hard day for Captain Daniela Mestenek, whose brother took his life 2 years ago. And one of the books I was a co-author of with, I believe, 7 other women, we co-authored a book about depression and this topic. And when I was at the Franciscan Monastery in Wisconsin in 2013, I did a 30-day silent retreat, water fast, fruit fast. I just ate fruits and vegetables and water for 30 days. And as I was down by the Fox River, I had a interaction with some guardians, some watchers, some angels that counseled me on what happens, because I was at a Catholic monastery and I had talked to Father Keith, and he had explained to me purgatory and how they feel about this unaliving of people. So I went down to the river to talk to my spirits, and I don't buy into the Catholic doctrine. The King James Bible is grossly misinterpreted. But these angels taught me that they're counselor angels, and I wanted to read what I wrote back in 2013 for anyone who has lost someone to unaliving. When a loved one or someone that you care for decides to take their own life, the living are left holding a silence so heavy it feels like it has its own gravity, like everything you believe in was sucked out of you. And I'd like people to listen to me as they read this with their spirit and know that silence is not your fault, and it's not your responsibility to solve. I spoke with some guardian angels and watchers recently who shared with me there are choices a soul makes that were never meant to be carried by the ones who stay. As a goddess, a witch who has walked both through trauma and truth, I'll tell you what the old mothers, the guardians, have taught me. Some souls leave because the body became too loud for them to hear their own spirit. The trauma done to their body was too loud for their spirit. Do you understand me? Not because they don't love you. No, you're their lover, their friend, their brother, their sister. Not because you weren't a good lover, friend, brother, or sister. Not because you weren't enough, but because their inner storm took over the steering wheel and they stepped out of the world so their spirit could find quiet. Okay? And here's the part that we don't really want to talk about, right? The moment they left the physical plane, their body, the moment they crossed over, they weren't alone. I promise you. There's no purgatory, no punishment chamber, no cosmic courtroom passing judgment on a hurting human who decides to become spirit. There are counselor angels, ancestral spirits, guides made of compassion and memory who meet them immediately when they leave the body. They sit with that soul the way a mother sits with a trembling child, not scolding them, not condemning them, but gently helping them unbind from pain they no longer have to carry in the human body. As a trauma survivor myself, my body remembers the trauma. My brain reacts, and I have to decide which thoughts to keep. The spirit, when it leaves the body after unaliving, the spirit is met with understanding long before the living ever are. But the living, we're left with the aftershock, the grief, the pain. We're left with the questions that don't have clean edges. We replay moments, conversations, miss signs, and we torture ourselves with what ifs that never heal anything. So let me say this clearly for everyone who's grieving the loss of someone who's taken their life. Your healing does not come from answering the unanswerable. Your healing comes from releasing the illusion that you could have rewritten their path, their life, their choice. Their choice. You could not. You love them in the ways you knew how. You showed up in the ways you were able. And a soul in that kind of pain often hides it with an expertise that even the closest hearts cannot see through. The strongest people you know consider it every day leaving the body. I'm speaking from experience. Every day. Your job now is not to solve their departure or why they left. Your job is to choose your own continuation on how you honor them. Grief will shapeshift you, I promise you. I've lost children and best friends and lovers. Some days it's a whisper. Grief, some days it's a hurricane, and grief, some anniversaries knock the fucking air out of your chest where you can't breathe. But each time you breathe again, you are teaching your spirit this truth. I can carry the memory without carrying the blame of my loved one who decided to take their life. Honor them by living the days they couldn't stay for. Honor them by letting the love move forward without dragging the wound with you. Honor them by refusing to shrink just because the world showed you a kind of loss you weren't prepared for. Nobody's prepared to lose a brother, a best friend, a sponsee, a sponsor. Nobody is prepared for that loss. A father, a mother. And in your quiet moments, when you feel them tug at the edge of your thoughts, know that is them. They're out there in the spirit realm and they're saying, hey, I'm not suffering anymore. I love you. I'm learning. I'm held, and I want you to keep going. You keep going. Your healing is not a betrayal to your loved one. Your joy is not a disrespect to them. Your survival is not a fucking accident. It's a continuation of the story that their pain interrupted. You are allowed to live. You are allowed to grow. And you are allowed to soften yourself again. And every step you take forward is a prayer that they can hear. So don't be sad for the loved ones who unalive themselves. Don't worry about where they are or how they are, because they're with us all the time. Your brother, your cousin, your mom, your dad, my friend who took their lives, Robin Williams, they're still here with us. They're in the wind. They're in the birds. They're still here with us.